Isn't it interesting how no matter where we find ourselves in this world, whether it's in a bustling, vibrant city or a quiet corner of the countryside, life has a way of presenting us with its full spectrum of experiences. There are times of joy and smooth sailing, certainly, but then there are also the inevitable storms, the unexpected challenges, the moments that can truly test our resolve. And in those moments, haven't you ever wished for an unshakable core? A deep well of inner strength that could see you through, calmly and capably. For centuries, long before our modern age of rapid information, wise men and women turned to philosophy, not just as an intellectual pastime, mind you, but as a practical guide for living a good life, a strong life, especially when the seas got rough. And among those ancient schools of thought, there's one that has always stood out for its profound, down-to-earth wisdom on building just such an inner fortitude. Today, I want to talk with you about philosophical resilience, finding strength in Stoic wisdom. Now, when you hear the word Stoic, some folks might picture someone stern, unfeeling, suppressing all their emotions. But that's a common misunderstanding, a bit like judging a book by a dusty cover. True Stoic wisdom, as taught by remarkable thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor no less, or Epictetus, who was once a slave, or Seneca, a renowned playwright and advisor. These weren't people detached from life, they were deeply engaged in it, seeking a way to navigate its complexities with wisdom, courage, and tranquility. They discovered some powerful truths, a practical toolkit for the mind that are just as relevant today as they were 2,000 years ago. Because human nature and the nature of life's challenges haven't changed all that much, have they? So what is this Stoic wisdom, and how can it help us build that unshakable philosophical resilience? Perhaps the absolute cornerstone of Stoic thought, the one idea that if you truly grasp it, can revolutionize how you experience life, is this. Focus diligently on what you can control and learn to accept with grace what you cannot. Isn't that simple, yet profound? The Stoics observed that so much of our distress, our anxiety, our frustration comes from trying to control things that are ultimately outside of our control. The weather, the economy, what other people think or do. Past events, even many aspects of our own health or future. We pour so much energy into wrestling with these But the Stoics said, there are things firmly within your sphere of control, your own thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your actions, your responses, the development of your own character. And if you were to shift all your focus, all your energy onto managing these things with wisdom and excellence, what would happen? Then you begin to build an inner peace, an inner strength that is not dependent on external circumstances. Trying to command the wind is a fool's errand. But learning to adjust your sails, your attitudes, your efforts, now that is where true power lies. This principle alone, if practiced daily, is a massive builder of resilience because it stops you from wasting your precious inner resources on battles you cannot win, and empowers you to master the one domain you truly can, yourself. Another powerful idea from the Stoics is that your true North Star, the highest good you should aim for, is living a life of virtue. What did they mean by virtue? They talked about 4 key aspects: wisdom, understanding how to live well; justice, treating others fairly; courage, facing difficulties with fortitude; and temperance, moderation and self-control. Now, think about that. If your primary aim in life is to cultivate these qualities within yourself, to be a person of integrity, of good character, then what happens when external misfortunes strike? They might cause you pain, they might cause you inconvenience, but they cannot touch your core purpose. Your sense of self-worth, your inner peace, is not tied to whether you get the promotion, or whether everyone likes you, or whether you avoid all hardship. It's tied to how you respond, to the character you display. As I've often said, what you become in the process is far more important than what you get. The Stoics understood this deeply, and this builds incredible resilience because your foundation is on solid rock, not on the shifting sands of external events. Then there's the Stoic approach to embracing reality, the art of acquiescence, as some have called it. This isn't about being a passive doormat or giving up on your goals. Not at all. It's about wisely, calmly accepting the things that have happened or the things that are genuinely outside your power to change right now. You see, so much of our suffering comes from railing against reality, from wishing things were different when they simply are not. That internal struggle is exhausting. The Stoic says, okay, this is the situation. It is what it is. Now, given this reality, what is the most rational, virtuous, and effective way for me to respond from this point forward? It's like a river flowing to the sea. You can spend all your energy trying to fight the current, or you can learn to navigate it, perhaps even use its power to your advantage. This acceptance of what is frees up enormous mental and emotional energy, allowing you to adapt and respond constructively, which is the very essence of resilience. The Stoics also had a fascinating practice for preparing the mind, something we might call a negative rehearsal, or thinking ahead about potential difficulties. Now, this isn't about dwelling on negativity or being a pessimist. It's about wisely and calmly contemplating potential challenges before they arise. Why would they do that? Because it does a couple of remarkable things. First, it can lessen the shock and impact if something difficult does happen. Because you've at least considered the possibility, you're not caught completely off guard. Second, it allows you to mentally rehearse how you might respond with wisdom and virtue, reinforcing your principles. It's like a fire drill for the mind. You hope you never need it, but if you do, you're much better prepared. This builds mental toughness and reduces the fear of the unknown, which are key components of resilience. It's like being prepared for winter, even in the middle of a beautiful summer. Just good sense. And all of this leads to the powerful idea of your inner citadel. The Stoics believed that through these practices, focusing on your control, living by virtue, accepting reality, preparing your mind, you could build an inner fortress of thoughts, principles, and character that external events, no matter how chaotic or distressing, simply could not breach. Your mind, your inner self, can become a sanctuary of peace and strength, independent of what's happening on the outside. You have the power to guard the gates of your mind, to choose what thoughts you allow to take root. This is the ultimate source of philosophical resilience, an inner core that remains steadfast and serene, because it's built on timeless truths, not fleeting circumstances. Finally, the Stoics emphasized living with purpose and fulfilling your duty, guided by reason. Understanding your role, your responsibilities, whether in your family, your work, your community, and then striving to fulfill them to the best of your ability, with integrity and goodwill, gives life a profound sense of meaning and direction. This, too, fortifies the spirit against adversity. So, how does this ancient wisdom translate into our modern lives? Into building resilience day by day? When you face a job loss, the Stoic approach helps you focus not on what you can't control, the company's decision, but on what you can, updating your skills, networking, maintaining a positive attitude. When you encounter a health challenge, it guides you to accept the reality of the situation, focus on the treatments and lifestyle changes within your control, and maintain your inner calm and courage. When a relationship becomes difficult, it helps you to focus on your own behavior, your own responses, treating the other person with fairness and respect, regardless of how they act, because your virtue is your own. In conclusion, my friends, this Stoic wisdom isn't about achieving a life free from difficulty. That's not the promise, and that's not reality. It's about cultivating a life of profound inner strength, tranquility, and unwavering purpose amidst all of life's inevitable challenges. It offers a practical, time-tested philosophy for building that unshakable inner core, that true philosophical resilience. The principles are simple, though not always easy to practice. But like any valuable skill, like building any strong structure, it requires consistent effort, daily attention. The invitation is here for you to explore these timeless ideas, to perhaps pick up the writings of those wise Stoics and see how their ancient insights can illuminate your path today. The challenges will undoubtedly come. That is the nature of our journey through life. But armed with this kind of philosophical framework, this deep inner work, you can learn to meet them not as a helpless victim tossed about by fate, but as a calm, capable, and profoundly resilient individual, strong and secure in your own inner citadel. What a way to live! What a strength to possess!